What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Tamed Fitness. This is my YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you made it. You're one of the 1%ers. But yeah, this is my first video. I was thinking really hard about what type of content I wanted to do, but I thought maybe just walking and vlogging and kind of just talking to you for a bit is not too bad for my first video. And anyways, I'll introduce myself. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Ronnie, also known as RG. I was a former rapper. I was part of the 21 District drill rap group in Sydney, Australia. Anyways, long story short, I got locked up with my brothers in 2019. Got out in 2021. This is just so you can get a little bit of a background on me. I'm Tongan. I was born in Canberra. Moved into Sydney. Basically grew up in Granville. Basically my whole life around those areas. So yeah, that's what else is there. I grew up being chubby my whole teenage years, my whole young years. The schools I went to, Delaney College, Granville East Public School. I can't really remember what preschool or kindergarten I went to, but yeah, Delaney College and Birrong Boys. And then after Birrong Boys, that's when I dropped out of high school and started pursuing work at a very young age, very early. I wanted to work and make money because me and my family we were just very, I wouldn't say we were like living on the street type poor, but we were poor, like as in like we still had a roof over our head, but the quality of our life was poor, if that makes sense. So the quality of our food was poor. Our parents tried to put us in a private school, but they couldn't afford it. So we got out of there, and there's heaps of us. There's about six. There's 6 of us boys in the family and 3 girls, 3 sisters. So you can just imagine, just by that, the amount of siblings, the amount of kids my parents had to take care of. And it's a lot. Yeah, it's been also my parents being like not coming from a wealthy background and that. So yeah, Paul is like my middle name. And I've figured out a lot of ways of how to manage my weight loss in the poor way. So that's why I'm glad I've started this movement, Tamed Fitness. You know, I've wanted to teach so many people how I've done it, like in the most poorest ways you can. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't like go gym or stuff, like, you know, properly invest in yourself. Like when you have the money, then do it. But just been through a lot of struggles where gyms were not only I couldn't afford to be in the gym, but I was actually like too insecure even at the start to just go to a gym. So just like where do I start, bro? So I wanted to make this video to basically introduce who I am and kind of just talk about how I lost a lot of my weight, a lot of fat, and to where I am now and where I am with my journey, I guess. So basically gave you a bit of a background of I'm Tongan as well, so I think I said that. Fuck, what do you call it when you just start forgetting shit that you're saying. Dementia. Yeah, I'm only 27. I already got dementia. But yeah, so my experience in weight loss. So I've never like I've never done a PT course. I've trained with PTs in the past, and my partner is actually a certified PT. But me myself, I'm not certified. But what I do have is experience. I've got a lot of experience. I've even trained with hectic PTs, and just a lot of trial and error with just full experience with what works and what doesn't work. And the good thing about this is that you can take my advice or not. I'm just telling you now that I'm not certified, but there's a lot of tricks under my sleeve that I feel like, you know, you guys deserve to know. And it's a lot of things that I learned along the way through my weight loss journey that like the fitness industry don't really teach. Maybe there's some PTs out there, but it's I don't know, I feel like the way the fitness industry is, it's very fluctuated. Like everyone's copying what everyone's saying, you know, in terms of calories, this and like it works, yeah. Like that's the proper way, like the Balangi way, I guess. But me being a Pacific Islander, I've tried to figure out so many ways, like in terms of our background, because being a Pacific Islander, we come from a past of just like I don't know what you call it, but we do eat a lot, we consume a lot, and it's one of the reasons why we're fucking genetically just big, most of us. And I tried to figure out so many ways how we could use eating a lot into our own advantage, us Pacific Islanders. So I'll probably talk about all of that in another video, but this video is not going to be too long. I just want to just chat with you, you know, just 1, 2, 3 ABC. So yeah, I did what was I going to say? So basically the best tips I'm going to talk to you is about when it comes to weight loss and fat loss, just kind of like hacks and tricks that I did along the way that helped me sustain my weight loss or fat loss. And I never lost myself, you know. I never gained all the weight back. I never did challenges, even though challenges do work for people. I tried to figure out just little ways to just live kind of a healthy lifestyle, and just being at a moderate, like just a general weight, and just improve from there, week by week, year by year. Slow is better than not moving at all or moving backwards, if you know what I mean. So just being probably one of the best tips I ever did was because I didn't really count my calories as much, or not at all. I didn't really count my calories at all. One of the best things I did was just cut my carbs in half. So everything that I was eating, I still ate a lot, but I cut back on my carbs and my sugar. Actually, I remember cutting out my sugar completely, but not necessarily carbs, because like I still got my carbs from like potatoes, rice and that, you know. But sugar was like, all right, number one. When I wanted anything sweet, I'd have fruits, or I'd drink sweet beverages that had 0 calories or no sugar in it. So Coke Zero, Pepsi Max. You even had like these 0 sugar cordials and stuff that you can mix water with. and I'd mix it in like sparkling water, you know. Just make my own like type of Coke Zero, you know. Just a lot of poor shit that I was doing, and it worked in my favor because like I was able to sustain a weight loss and a diet. It's just easy for me, you know. And because it was so drilled into me, it was almost like I became obsessive of the weight loss journey. And a lot of people do go through that. When you start seeing hectic results, you almost become obsessed and it becomes addictive. But that is also something dangerous, you know. Like it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't come to a point where you're almost glorifying all that stuff. So, and yeah, it took me a while to get over that phase, but now I'm here. I make sure I train and I give all the glory back to God. Still practicing, you know, but I'm way better than how I used to be in the past. But you know, just involving God in my weight loss journey and everything I'm doing now in my life, 100 times better, you know, 110% way better. And yeah, just always positive intentions every day when I wake up and I go train. I do weight training, and you might say like I don't eat much, but I actually eat a lot. I eat way more than what I used to eat when I first started my weight loss. Yeah, I eat heaps because the way I'm training now, I lift heavy. I just my appetite must have grown out of like sporadically over the time being. But yeah, so Coke Zero sugar beverages, like low calorie sugar, like maybe sweets and stuff. Like, yeah, you had your protein bars and that, but I wasn't really into that stuff. But whey protein isolate, another major thing that I use. I didn't see, a lot of people get this wrong, because if you're going to use protein like powders, you can't use it as a meal replacement, if that makes sense. So you can't, like, you have to have your diet organized firsthand, and you can't just swap out your actual food for whey protein. And I remember I used to do this at the start, and like I went kind of like, it was like a phase of where I wasn't eating that much, and I went really like skinny fat. Like I just looked out of proportion. And even though I liked all the weight I lost, I was still insecure about taking off my shirt. And anyways, I went diving deep into research and seeing what actually, you know, signals muscle stimulus and everything to do about, like, you know, bulking and getting big. And the number one rule that you can't go wrong is that you have to eat. Doesn't matter who you are, big, small, short, tall, you have to eat in order to retain or gain some type of muscle, because protein, especially protein, is the building block, repairs the muscles. So obviously I knew that. That's like one of the most obvious things that's been fluctuated all over the fitness world. Protein this, protein that. So it's a no-brainer, right? And I took that to advantage, my own advantage. Being a Pacific Islander, I ate a lot of protein, a lot. And what can I say? I can't thank protein enough. It's all out there, you know. Like reason why protein will be probably the number one or the most important thing when you're in a deficit. It becomes probably more important than any macronutrient, because your body, not only protein is essential, but your body needs protein to stay satiated, you know, stay full. And it's the only macronutrient that burns calories while you're like digesting it as well. And when I learned about this, I was like, fuck, you know, protein is actually not that basic. You know, it does more than you think. So what did I do? I took advantage of eating a lot of protein. There's this thing going around, oh, you can't, if you overeat protein, you know, some of it will stack as fat. You can't eat more than 50 grams of protein, or 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. All that shit is a myth, bro. Straight out, I eat a lot, like, and nothing's ever happened to me. And like, shit only happened to me when I was overeating carbs and processed food and sugar and shit like that. I knew 100%, all right, protein, I'll take advantage of. Carbs, sugars and that, and fats, I'll play around with it. I'll tweak with it. And that's basically what I did. So I made protein always high, and I'd eat like 3-4 times a day, sometimes more. And I'll just make sure that everything that I'm eating has a high ratio of protein in it, and then on the lower spectrum when it comes to carbs and fats. I made fats kind of like more important, because to me it was more important for my hormones to be you know, regulated properly, because like, you don't want to be feeling shit, bro, while you're in a deficit. So carbs as well, carbs is important too, but I feel like in my personal experience, carbs fueled my workout more, aided my recovery more. So with carbs, I'd use it to my advantage, where I would wait until the time I train, either before or after, but it was always around my weight training time. I'd eat potatoes, or I'd eat rice, or biscuits, or whatever it is, banana. I'd wait till then. Every other time before that, I'd eat a lot of protein, like poultry, chicken, fish, beef, mince, or I'd eat, I'd eat like all my meats with vegetables. Just the non-starchy, like cruciferous vegetables. Like those type of vegetables, greens, carrots, broccoli, like all that good stuff. And I knew if I was to do that, like, bro, and I'd eat a lot, like I'd eat like probably 2 plates at a time, bro. If it was late at night and I still felt hungry, which now that hardly happens, but back then, because I was a lot bigger, there'll be times where I feel hungry at night, you know, that hunger comes creeping up. I'd eat more chicken and more veggies, chuck it in the air fryer, you know. You guys can do this calorie counting stuff, but I tried to figure out how many ways I could do this without counting my calories. I'll track sort of like my weight training and that, because I'd want to improve with my training style. So I'd track my training more than the food. I just kept it like real basic. I always kept my protein high. I'd play around with the carbs and fats. So what I do, I time my carbs around training time this way. After I did my research on carbs and fats, so fats and protein are essential. The body needs it. The body can live without carbs. So I'd play around with carbs, and I'd time it around my training time. And by doing this would actually impact your insulin sensitivity in a good way, because I might need to explain this in another video, because if there's anything that you guys need to learn when it comes to the fitness world or weight loss or anything, if there's any hormone that you guys would need to be learning about, it's insulin. That's the one that you guys need to learn about the most. Don't really worry about anything. Consider everything, but insulin is probably the most important one, which will be the key factor of you being at a stable weight loss journey and just staying fit all around. But everyone's different, you know, but unless you have like you were born with some underlying condition, you know, in regards to your blood, whatever, you may need to see doctors and stuff. But I know for sure that what I teach people actually works. I'm so confident, man. I'm using basically this, my movement, Tamed Fitness, to kind of like give back towards our Polynesian people. It might not be nothing, or might not mean nothing to you, but I feel like our people, our Polynesian people, have one of the most ridiculous genetics on earth, like side by side with, you know, African people and that. But it's because I actually skip all that. But you know, we're genetically gifted, and I feel like our people shouldn't be eating less. Our people should be eating more healthy foods, like more, you know. And because like obviously you're seeing our poly people migrating a lot into footy and all these athletic sports, you know. And I feel like we do have a lot of poly people getting involved with the active world and stuff, but we also do have a lot of people that are still struggling with their diet, and they don't know anything about nutrition. And like, yeah, you can lift, you can train hard, but all that shit will go nowhere if you ain't got your nutrition on point. So all that training hard and stuff, like unless you're genetically gifted, which I highly doubt, there'll probably be a very low percentage, you can never out-train a bad diet. So make sure your nutrition's on point, and then trust me, you're gonna see hectic results. You're gonna make it 10 times easier, because if you just control what you're putting in your mouth, like your training will just follow through, and it'll be like, look at training as a tool, right? Like a tool, like a hammer to build a house. And you need a hammer, and you also need timbers to put the house up together. And the timbers are basically like the food and that. And you need proper structure. That's probably the worst example I've ever fucking made. That's by far the worst example I've ever fucking said. I've said heaps of hectic shit on the podcast and that, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, so protein, high protein, zero sugar drinks, and when it comes to cardio, so strength training, weight training was like my biggest tool. I knew that, you know, if I focused all my 100% focus on strength training, you know, weightlifting, lifting heavy, progressive overload, I knew that this would ultimately shape my body, give my body a hectic foundation, and give me also the aesthetic look. So when being in a deficit, obviously you're going to lose fat, and you need to have that frame. And to have that frame, you need to be lifting heavy, you need to be progressively overloading, or you just need to be lifting heavy, or just sending like strong muscle signals to your body. So that way when you're in a deficit, you have to give your body a reason to basically not let go of the muscle. So you have to lift heavy. I'm not saying that you should avoid, you know, doing lighter weights and more reps. I feel like that should be for girls, but for the men, I need you to listen to me. You need to lift heavy and lift light. You need to cycle on and off on both, or do both, but obviously with structure. And you need to do like more steady state cardio, like walking. There's something I always did for cardio, very low risk of injury, was walking. No brainer. So I'd walk a lot, and now I have a watch that tracks my steps. If you guys want to know how and track your steps, get a watch, get a ring, or use your phone. I used to use my phone, until I could afford my own watch. And yeah, now I use my watch, and I use it to track my steps and my sleep. So I can my watch times my sleep, and I could see from there, track my sleep, if I'm sleeping less or longer than 7 hours. But yeah, weight training minimum 3 times a week, and sleeping is also important, guys. You have to sleep, you have to prioritize sleep at some point. If you're a person that's trying to lose weight and gain muscle, that's like almost everyone's goal. So you have to prioritize sleep. Sleep is like a no-brainer fat loss hack, because what are you doing when you're staying up? You're letting in more hunger signals. So the longer you stay up, the longer you're gonna be doing this, looking around for food, looking around for ice cream, opening the fridge. I used to do all that shit, bro. Now, like, there's a certain time where I go to sleep every single night. Now, I used to drink minimum like 2 liters of water a day. Water's another no-brainer, because it's 0 calories. I literally like overdo it sometimes. I'd freaking gulp it down my lungs. Just make sure I always suppress that hunger feeling as much as I can. Coffee is another one. But you want to make sure you be careful, because some people's blood types are different as well. So me, I never had a problem with caffeine, but I'd strategically use caffeine to my advantage. Obviously improves cognitive focus and all that and stuff, so I'd use it around my training time. I try not to use it late, because I'd want to go to sleep. So that, also salt, I'd use a lot of salt and pepper on my food. Being on a healthy diet, like seasonings and salts that had basically 0 calories, you know, like I'd religiously mash all that stuff around my food, so that way I'm just like, you know, it's not only satiating, but everything tastes nice, and then the diet becomes like a lot easier. And yeah, there's a few tips and tricks there. What else have I not talked about? Oh yeah, when it came to cardio, I do like explosive cardio, like burpees, like sprinting, cycling, like a lot of just like high, and then moderate, high, and then moderate. What I mean by that is, like, if I was to run, I'd sprint and then walk, sprint and then walk. I could do that for 12 minutes. I'd cycle it. So one time we'll be bike riding, one time we'll be sprinting, one time we'll be swimming, one time we'll, you know, and it's just like, so you don't get bored, you know. It's always good to change it up. This is how you stay like in a cycle of an active lifestyle. Yeah, I was doing all this, having a 9-to-5 job, and I remember come to one point, my missus was pregnant. Obviously I needed to provide, you know. Obviously, like, being financially stable would have to play an important role when it comes to like fitness and training. So, and I didn't want to let go of myself in the process. So I did work 2 jobs at one point, and I was that stubborn that even though some days I was tired and stuff, I'd still get my weight training sessions in. Like, no excuses, bro. Like, I was just I was that obsessed to the point where I'd have 2 jobs, right? I'd work like minimum 14-hour days, sometimes more. But like I'd work ridiculous hours and I'd still go to the gym, you know? And the boys were telling me like, oh fuck, how'd you do it? I just said, bro, it's all in your, like, it's all in your head, bro. Basically, like, you can either do it or just not do it. Like, the way I look at my life now, like, everything is 100% like first person perception. Like, everything in life is just the way you view it, and it's the way you feel, things that you can hear, things that you can see. and you ultimately have the willpower and to do anything in life, you know. And I feel like having the free will to do anything in life is actually a massive blessing. And you can either choose to do right or wrong. You can either choose to eat healthy or eat unhealthy, and like so on and so on. So with me, I looked at it in that way, like my training and stuff, like it was like a privilege. So the privilege for me to train, the privilege for me to eat healthy and take care of myself was important to me. And the privilege of working, you know, I just always kind of compared those things to other people all around the world. Like, I'd imagine people that weren't able to work and have a stable job like me. I looked at people that weren't able to sprint because they were missing a leg, or like, you know, missing a limb. I'd look at things like that and then like, fuck, that's what drives me, you know. Some people don't have those type of privileges, and so I take advantage of that. And like, I'll always give glory back to God, you know. Thank you for, you know, giving me another day to breathe. Thank you for this training session. Thank you for letting me run on my two legs. Thank you for letting me pull myself up, you know. Thank you for giving me this love and understanding and this strength and the willpower to keep driving forward, you know. And there's some of these privileges some boys don't have, you know. And like, it's just amazing, bro. Like, that's the way I just see things, you know. Perception is everything. And if you want to see your life going downhill and you're seeking downhill, you are going to invite all the downhill vibes, you know. You need to seek, you know, you need to seek greatness, you need to seek happiness, you need to seek positivity, because if you're seeking those things, then only those things will come, you know. I'm a very big believer of, you know, having God involved in your life and ultimately seeking positivity, you know. You can't just get God involved in your life and just wait for something to happen. Like, you know, it's like asking God to give you protein and vegetables, put it in my mouth so I can lose weight. You have to do it yourself, bro. You have to do it yourself. But I always give glory back to God, you know. But yeah, what else did I used to do to chip my fat loss? I just like, strength training was like my main program. A lot of walking and prioritizing my sleep, because also just growing up, like, you know, I always had a hard time sleeping just because of like my family. We just always, like, it was a bit of everything. Like, we were financially poor, and so certain things will make me stay up at night, you know, just thinking about life. It was just a lot of that. And when I went to prison in 2019, I had a lot of time to sleep, a lot of time to reflect, a lot of time sitting on my bed, a lot of time walking back and forth in my cell like this, especially in Segro. So when I got out, I took advantage of opportunities, you know. I never looked at a job like, you know, this job's a piece of shit. No, I'm a piece of shit because I'm the one that got myself here in prison. That's the way I looked at everything. I valued everything, time, family, you know, job. Like, I put everything into perspective, and I stopped being selfish. I stopped thinking about myself. Started being more of a leader type, and, you know, just providing and looking after other people, because you get to a point where you just think like, what the fuck was I doing? What was I thinking, you know? Now I feel like the way I'm living my life, I just live for other people, and like, could have never felt better. But yeah, holy cunt, bro, how much steps is that? I don't know. I already, like, minimum, I do like 15k steps a day. It's just like, I love staying on my feet. Obviously being in jail, I just walk a lot up and down the cell, up and down the yard. So walking is like a type of thing. It's like my therapy. I would say walking is more therapy to me than strength training. But yeah, I know the day is good, the sun's out. Love walking, man. Brisk walk, and just listening, listening to audio books. I was never into all that reading and type of stuff until I went to jail. You're kind of forced into the corner, to try new things, to try and elevate yourself, become a better human being when you get out. And I feel like, yeah, that's what ultimately happened with me and my brothers. We've seen the cycle of just what we were doing and where it'll ultimately end up for all of us. So yeah, man, there's a lot of hectic things that you guys need to know about, fitness and nutrition. So I'm glad I'm starting this movement. Very soon I'm going to be dropping some merch. That's my only upcoming news. But if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to do a lot of hectic things, like in regards to content. Going to be going around, like asking, interviewing other people as well, how they got to their shape. And also I'm going to be uploading a video where I'm going to talk about my first time taking performance enhancement drugs, basically steroids. So I took it for the first time. Not that this changed my physique to what it is now, because it actually, it done a lot worse than what I expected or what I hoped to get out of from taking. And there's a lot of key factors that played to why that thing happened and why it impacted me in that type of way. But yeah, I'm gonna explain everything that happened in another video. I took performance enhancement drugs at one stage in my life, and it didn't really work in my favor. But my physique that I have now, I'll say this. My actual physique that I had, training naturally and eating naturally, healthy. It was actually, I did it all the right way, and I fucking got a hectic physique. I'll show you the video of my physique when I got out of jail, and I didn't get this physique from being in jail. Because some cunts are always saying, oh yeah, you in jail, that's why you got that physique, that's why you're eating healthy. Bro, I keep saying this time and time again, bro. The boys in jail, there was actually overpopulated with boys that are just lazy and they get fatter by the week. And there's a very small percentage of boys, even just a few 3 or 4 group of boys in every single jail I go to, where they're training, they're fit and they're healthy. The rest of the population is just lazy cunts on drugs, playing cards, eating rubbish food on the buy-ups, But yeah, a very small percentage of boys will go into prison and actually utilize that time to be better and elevate themselves in regards to fitness, health, reading, learning, recovering. And I guess the rest would just stay stuck in the system. Really depends. But yeah, stay tuned, because I feel like now starting this YouTube channel You guys will get to know the best version of me, unfiltered, uncut, raw, RG, everything, you know, that I am from the past till now. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, because I'm going to be giving you some of the best tips and tricks to losing weight and keeping the fat off. And join me on this journey with the most uncut, raw content coming up. See you on the next one.